Hi everyone, this is Frank Rodson. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something, a departure from what I've normally done. I'm going to be showcasing the two types of floats that I use for fishing, and the reasons why I pretty much only use two types for bass, bluegill, and smaller catfish. So I'm going to be showcasing my Okuma ultralight 8-foot steelhead rod, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be a pretty fundamental video, just going after some eating sized bluegills for a change. Haven't even done that in about 10 years. So I'm glad you joined up, and we'll see what I can do. So the three really important aspects when you're talking about bobbers or floats is I tend to classify those standard round bobbers made out of plastic as bobbers. And of course, with them being round, they're not the greatest choice, because when there's wind they blow around the surface of the water, and yeah, they cast good, but you can cast just as good with these options as you can a round bobber and not have them, you know, in these land really natural in the water. I did some fishing and didn't bring a camera, and it was a stocked, I didn't realize they stocked this pond, and I was catching big bluegill. They really like the natural fall of these floats. So I'll go over my background about why these are a good pick. I worked in a bait shop on and off for, I don't know, 8 years. So I tried every single kind of float that they had in there. And these styles are going to be the best. So this one is, it has a weight here. I mentioned it in the video. And how you properly want to balance a float is you want to have the surface of the water where my thumb is. You want to have it so, I'll just kind of put it there, my fingers. You want to have it so that water is encapsulating that up to the top. So that's what this will do, and if you add a little split shot to it, it'll work even better. These cast great, they're visible, and they're sensitive. Casting great is their first asset. And they're great for stuff like, you see these tubes in here, small tubes, or you see these hair jigs. They're great for cranking 3 times and letting them fall, and then cranking 3 times again. I'll probably do a video about that in the future, for jigging these types of things with a slow crank retrieve, 3 cranks and pause. That's all you do for that. If you've got any questions, just ask. It's a really deadly technique for big gills and crappie. But I call these, you know, your standard thinner type bodies. Like this, we'll go over, I guess we'll go over the clip one first. The clip ones like this are great because they're pretty, the balsa casts pretty good. The thing is, the downside to balsa is if you're fishing with someone who's younger, or you're fishing around someplace that has a lot of rocks, styrofoam may be better, because these can take a beating and get dented and nicked up and still float for quite some time. Whereas these would crack. That's one thing I think most magazines videos never mention, is if you want something that's going to be more durable, go with this, and also more economical, because you're not going to replace them. These are better in open water or moderate sparse cover. But in shallow water you can rig them up so they just stay like this, so when the fish hits it, it just pops up. Or you can weight them down. Like I said, they've got pretty good leeway. So if you add a little bit of weight, they'll be about here. Or you can actually add more weight and kind of rig them even down to here. So they're very versatile. Now I've heard a lot of serious float anglers say, why not fill European style bobbers? Here's the thing about European style fishing. I've studied it on and off for years because I primarily fish from the shore on waders. And the thing is, you really have to match up the rod and the length of the rod and your pound test to match those European floats, which are much thinner than this. Yes, they're going to be more sensitive. You can just add more weight to those and basically get kind of the same thing, which I never even really realized until I was doing this video. And they're difficult to cast. These have a good amount of weight, and when you add weight to them, that's the thing. I'm talking about ultralight, light, and even up to medium tackle. If you just use medium rod, they'll cast good. For these stick designs will cast good for anything like that. And that's your spring-loaded clip. Again, the downside of this is they kind of spin around sometimes when they cast, or the line gets wrapped or nicked in here. But so I guess there's no such thing as a perfect float. But I've been loving these. I haven't really been doing any pan fishing in 10 years, but I mean, those are what I was using for years before I got into this. So I went over styrofoam, And then again, this one, you just open it up, put your line in there, then do this side, put your line in there. And you can also rig it so if you have it offset, where this is up, like that with a hole in it, it can be a slip bobber on both sides. So another layer of versatility. Again, I love versatility and not having 50 different bobbers for so many situations. So the next design would be one of these two. One's thinner, one's kind of like this one, a bigger one. And these would be slip bobbers. And that's what you're going to use if you're going to fish deeper with your various knots. I'm primarily, this video is primarily about just getting eating size bluegills for the frying pan, and you're really never going to need to use a slip bobber for those situations unless you're in a different part of the country, maybe, I don't know, like a reservoir situation. So your clip designs will work for whatever you're doing to get those eating size bluegill. So like I said, that's how you balance a float. You know, you're going to want to make sure if it's like this design, you know, this is going to be a little bit more like a European style. You're going to have it so it's sitting up top like this. But if there's a number one thing that kills most panfish anglers' possibilities, it's not taking the rigging seriously. It's not hard, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but you'll catch so many fish and have so much more enjoyment. Primarily on this, ultralight to light action is going to be the key. Some people like to use a medium light and heavy cover, but they'll work in all those situations. And the thing about all these floats is you can cast them on everything from probably like down to a 4.5 all the way up to like an 8. So they'll cast on different rod lengths because I've experimented with different rod lengths. But primarily 5.5 to like 6.5 is probably going to be like your best. You may not get more distance with a 7 or a longer rod depending on your situation. Or if you don't have a good rod like that Okuma I was using, you will get more distance. But that's just how you rig the designs, the fixed ones, primarily, so you can get on those eating size bluegills. So that's how you balance them, and those are the applications. And I really went through an absolute ton of small dinks, but I managed to get 5 or 6, you know, around eating size, nothing too spectacular. A couple ones swallowed it that were dead, so I got 4 that were decent, and those are absolutely excellent to pan dress and not fillet. So it worked, and I just wanted to thank you for watching, and not too complicated of a video, but like I said, just float fishing. And eventually I did have to add a sinker, but you know, we all know we can catch fish like this, but you know, I had to use it's pretty weedy out there, and I had to use, you know, a longer rod to make it happen. I don't know if I could have done that with a shorter rod, so I'm definitely liking the long rod thing. Please subscribe if you haven't considered already. I do appreciate you watching, and take care, everyone, and thank you all new subscribers. A lot of folks are just getting into fishing. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions about doing the bobber thing, starting bluegill fishing, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.